Greetings, hello and welcome. This is Dr. Max from Dr. Max Online School, and I would like to continue with our travel and tourism topics. And I say that we dealt with the first segment. Like this area, we are on one. Like we say that this paper has 5 sections, so we are dealing with the first section, the first part, which is like the topic which introduces the main travel and tourism definition and concepts. So it's the fundamental or the foundational topic, that is 1.1, and it has some subtopics which include the main types of tourism, the main reasons why people travel, sustainable travel and tourism, which we touched yesterday. It also touches on the characteristics of travel and tourism, which we are going to touch on today. Then characteristics of travel and tourism, like I said, there is the types of tourists, that is 1.5. There is types of destinations. So today, since we cleared topics 1, 2, and 3, we are going to look at topic 4, which has something to do with the characteristics of travel and tourism, and it has a number of aspects which constitute the industry, and which makes it like which differentiates it from other industries. So characteristics of travel and tourism looks into the products, the services. Are they intangible or tangible? Are they perishable, right? Is tourism seasonal? Is it dynamic? Is it becoming increasingly sustainable? Is it resilient? So this is what makes up like travel and tourism. So let us look at let me try to introduce this again. Like the travel and tourism industry has specific characteristics or a specific unique characteristics or features which differentiates it from other industries. So understanding these characteristics is crucial to understand travel and tourism as a banner, as an umbrella term, as a whole. So number one, we have the product as part and parcel of the characteristics. So there are 2 different types of travel and tourism products. Number one, they are what we call goods. Then number 2, they are services. What are goods? Goods are the physical products, items that are tangible and that you can touch and store. So when something is tangible, it means you can physically touch it. Like how I've just touched this pen, it is tangible. You can touch it physically. So for example, like in tourism, a suitcase, let's say you're traveling from Zimbabwe to Cape Town for a holiday. You carry your clothes in a suitcase. So that suitcase becomes a tangible tourist or tourism good, right? So then a service in most cases, and that's what substantiates tourism. A service is intangible. You cannot touch it as it is an action done on your behalf. For example, a taxi ride from the airport to a hotel. You cannot touch it. You can just feel it. Like just to see sightseeing the Eiffel Tower in France, in Paris, France, or just the sightseeing the Victoria Falls in Zimbabwe, or maybe in Zambia. I don't know, there are debates which emanate from that fact of whether it's in Zimbabwe or it's in Zambia. So I don't know, but I'm a Zimbabwean, so it's in Zimbabwe. Right, so like if you visit the Victoria Falls, then you sightsee it, right? It's intangible. There's no way you can just carry that sightseeing and come with it to the people, in front of the people, and say, guys, this is the Victoria Falls that I've just seen. It's just crazy. So, like I said, products, these are goods or services that are sold or made available to tourists. Then goods are tangible objects that you can touch and store. Then services are an action done on your behalf. It is someone doing something for you, and services are intangible. They are intangible. Why? You cannot touch. They have no physical touch. So, like tourism is a service industry. Is it dominantly or is it mainly, right? Or is it primarily a service industry? Like it involves people doing things for the tourist. For example, when a tourist buys a ferry ticket or a cruise ship ticket, they are paying for that ride to the ferry, right? At the stated time and experience, the service provided on that trip. So, like the captain will steer the ferry on the tourist's behalf. so they can experience the journey. So travel and tourism organizations provide a wide variety of services. For example, transport, accommodation, guided tours, entertainment, various attractions, food and beverage, and also bureau de change, like currency exchange. So these are the type of the services that are offered under tourism as a banner. So travel and tourism services are intangible, like I said. So this makes it very difficult for organizations to represent their services before a tourist buys it. Yes, because the tourist has to feel it, right? For example, a tourist cannot test or sample the ferry journey before purchasing a ticket. All they can do is read the information provided about the journey and trust that it will meet their needs and wants as stated in the marketing materials. We've been all to school trips. You don't pay after the trip, you pay before the trip. You get the sense? So travel and tourism services are experiences, because they are experiences. So you have to pay. Why are we saying so? There's no way we can remove your eyes after you have refused to pay to view the Great Zimbabwe. So these organizations sell a promise. They tell you that Great Zimbabwe or Victoria Falls is the greatest, is a heritage site. It's, they market it, they sell a promise. They promise you that you will enjoy. So a promise of an enjoyable time of good customer service and having all needs and wants met. So this can cause problems as different tourists who have different needs and wants. So like one tourist may want the ferry journey to be fast. Yes. Let's say you're traveling in a bus. Do you know that when you're traveling in a bus, some people will be behind time, some will be on time, some will just want to enjoy the journey. So for example, let's say a journey from Harare, which is a city here in Zimbabwe, Harare to Mutare, it's a journey which can take roughly like 4 hours. It might take 7 hours sometimes. Let's say it can rain, or like the bus might experience a breakdown or something. The person who is in a rush might scold the bus crew. You get the sense? And it becomes a disadvantage. Not everyone is enticed with the services, because people have different schedules of time. So one tourist may want the ferry journey or may want the bus journey to be fast and efficient so that they can get to their next destination quickly. Another tourist may want the journey to be relaxing, like seeing the trees outside, appreciating the nature outside. So an opportunity to view the scenery. And despite potential differences, there are some wants and needs that are similar. For example, both of these tourists needs the journey to be safe and comfortable. Whether you're rushing or whether you're not rushing, at the end of the day, you need your life to be preserved. At the end of the day, you need to arrive safely and comfortably, right? So under tourism, under these intangible products, there's also the perishable part. That's another characteristic of tourism. Like travel and tourism services are perishable. This means that they cannot be stored for use or sale at another time. For example, if a plane has a maximum of 150 tickets available for each specific journey, and they only sell 70 tickets for that particular trip, they cannot store the extra 50 tickets and sell them with their next journey. The tickets have perished and can no longer be used. Why? Because the date has passed. You get the sense? Like there is what we call a travel itinerary. When we are traveling on 8 October 1996, this means that, let's say we have Ethiopian Airways, right? They just stick to that. Ethiopian Airways, if there are 10 people who booked, I still remember when I went to Cape Town, the plane was almost empty. I don't know the exact capacity of the full capacity of the plane, like when all the seats are all bought, are all purchased. I don't know the full capacity, but I saw a couple of empty seats to an extent that I went up on my own. I was on my own when we flew to Cape Town. That journey was executed regardless of the fact that the plane was not full. We were about 30 of them. So maybe there was an excess of 60 to 100 seats. I really don't know. So it becomes perishable. That's what was gotten on that day. So this results in the air travel operator or a ferry operator in the waters missing out on sales and money. So it's perishable. Why? Because it describes something that cannot be stored. If the service is not sold, it expires. For example, the ticket of a concert, if it's not sold, that's done and dusted. That's that, and it's also a disadvantage. You get the sense. So, like although travel and tourism under the goods and services, although travel and tourism is a service, many organizations also sell goods. For example, a museum may sell or provide guidebooks to increase the tourist enjoyment and understanding. So sometimes the goods and services part work hand in hand, help each other to substantiate or to push the tourism further. So it is important to remember that it is not only services that are perishable and intangible. Travel and tourism goods can be stored and are tangible. So sometimes it can be difficult to determine whether the products can be termed a good or a service. Yes, it's tricky. What am I saying? For example, think about a meal in a restaurant. The food provided is tangible. Yes, because we can take our fork and knife and eat. It's tangible. You can actually feel it with your hands, right? Therefore, it is considered to be a good. However, the meal will have been cooked, so that cooking becomes a service. The meal will have been cooked and prepared by a chef, which is an intangible service. So therefore, the meal in the restaurant can be regarded as both a good and a service. Why are we saying it's a good? Because you can touch the food that you have eaten. Why is it also a service? Because it was cooked. Cooking is a service. So it can be helpful to think about travel and tourism products as something being on a continuum. You get the sense. So yes. So all travel and tourism products are provided for tourism's enjoyment, regardless of being a good or a service. At the end of the day, the tourist must enjoy. So the products are there to meet the needs and wants of the tourist and to ensure they have a safe and enjoyable experience. So tourism has something to do with the seasonality too. That's important. For example, we are going to December. That's an advantageous season for travel and tourism. So the demands for products will vary throughout the year. This is known as seasonality. At certain times of the year, destinations or tourism organizations may receive high number of tourists. Like here, we are going to the Christmas holiday, the festive holiday, like they call it the Eid Mubarak again in Islam. I'm a religious teacher, so I tolerate all religions. So, for example, in Christianity, they have Christmas. So, in Christmas, the festive season, friends and relatives will be visiting each other. So, tourism will be what? It's a high, you receive a high number of tourists in that period. And travel and tourism organizations also experience changes in demand over a week. For example, an attraction may be very busy at the weekend and less busy in the week. For example, like most restaurants, they tend to be busy, isn't it? Most restaurants tend to be busy in the weekend because people will be resting with their families and friends. But during the week, it's rare to find a high number of people at the restaurant on a Tuesday or Wednesday because it's a fully working day. So there are several factors that can cause seasonality. For example, weather and climate can affect the seasonality. Religion, again, like I said, school and national holidays too, and special events or festivals can affect seasonality. So travel and tourism organizations and destinations will split the year into different seasons so that they can understand to manage the seasonality. They have to be realistic. Let's say you open a tourist resort and just expect people to come throughout the day. That's not practical. There is seasonality to this. So the most common split is what you call peak season, then off-peak season. I think you know transport system. Especially here in Zimbabwe, there's what we call a peak hour. That's the hour in which people will be traveling from their homes to the what? To the city center for work. And there's a peak hour later on, like around 4, 5, or 6 p.m. in the evening. People will be traveling back from work to their homes. So there will be a huge volume of traffic thereof during that time. So that's the peak where there's a large number of people traveling. So peak season is the time when travel and tourism products have the greatest demand. And off-peak season is the time when travel and tourism products have the least demand, demand. That's the understanding. And especially during the COVID era, it was quite easy to push travel and tourism because people were not even allowed to travel. We used to enjoy everything in our homes. So there is increasingly sustainable, right? Like tourists increasingly want travel and tourism products to be sustainable. Why? Because you have to protect the services so that they can be used for future use. The reason why a tourist might visit a destination, then they would want to come and visit it again and again and again. It is because of sustainability. I think we touched on sustainability in the next lesson, and this also helps us to understand how these topics correlate. You cannot understand the next topic without understanding the previous one. There is an axis point, there are some concepts which meet. So they are more aware of the impact travel has on the environment, economies, and people. As a result, tourism organizations are now making products more sustainable. Like, for example, many visitors' attractions work with local schools to provide educational experiences, while it benefits both the visitor attraction and the local community. So, travel and tourism is also dynamic. Why are we saying it is dynamic? Dynamic means it is constantly changing, or in simpler language, it is always changing. So, travel and tourism products are dynamic. They are always changing and evolving as the industry develops to meet changing customer needs and wants. So, like, people are changing, there's globalization, there's artificial intelligence, there are many changes that are coming through in this world. So people end up like moving on with the time. So travel and tourism organizations have to adapt and change their products to meet changing customer demands. And increasingly, tourists want a product they can adapt or personalize to their own specific needs and benefits. So, like, this is like evident in air travel. Tourists can now book specific aircraft seats. Yes, they can have a chartered plane, meals and airport lounge experiences on the airline's website, right? And again, tourism is tended to be resilient. Resilient means it has been stubborn, fighting against all odds. Like, the travel and tourism industry is resilient. That's another characteristic of it. Like, it can survive and recover after difficult situations or conditions. We have heard about COVID. COVID almost closed down everything. Closed the education sector, closed the agricultural sector, it closed down the tourism sector. But tourism, just like the other sectors, also fought back. But tourism was not supposed to rise. Because tourism thrives on continuity. You need the resources you have now to be used in the next period, and into the next period, into the next period, into the next period. Now with COVID, everything was shut down. There wasn't any circulation of money in the tourism industry, so they had to start afresh after the lockdowns were uplifted. So difficult situations, often called shocks, can be on a global scale. For example, the COVID-19 pandemic. They can be on a national scale. For example, terrorist attack, or local. For example, natural disasters can disturb tourism activities. Let's say an area experiences floods or hurricanes. So these shocks, they are called shocks. They shock the whole industry. Like, they disrupt the ability and willingness to travel and tour. So, however, because the industry is so dynamic, it is mitigating some of the factors. It is now able to quickly adapt, change, and survive. Adapt, improvise, and overcome. So, and this has been proven from time and time immemorial. That's why we always have tourism up to this date. If the people who push the services were going to surrender because of a hurricane, which happened which destroyed homes, let's say in 1945, there wouldn't have been tourism up to this day. So resilience and the other characteristics make travel and tourism a very special and unique industry. 20 minutes done and dusted. Thank you, guys. So 1,4 is done and dusted. We are going to 1,5, which has to look into types of tourists. Thank you.